Welcome back to the Learn to Read Thai channel, and today we're going for a fish lunch at a restaurant overlooking Songkhla Lake. Lampo sits on the rim of Songkhla Lake. It's kind of the opposite side of Songkhla city, and in the middle of the lake is Your Island, Got Your, which we can see here, and there are also some very good fish restaurants on Your Island, but it's a bit further to go from Hat Yai, so this place is just a bit more convenient. There's a string of restaurants along the lakeside. You'll see all these red and white signs, and each sign is a separate restaurant. And there's plenty of parking. There's parking on the lakeside and on the opposite side, so parking's not a problem. And if you're not sure which restaurant to eat at, either ask a Thai friend for a recommendation, or just look to see which restaurant is very busy. Thais are very picky about their food, and if they go somewhere they don't like, they won't complain, they just won't go back again. But the ones they like, they will keep going back to. So those restaurants tend to be very busy. I mentioned before that when tourists come to Thailand, they come with a fixed list of things they want to buy and do. And often, one of the things they want to do is to eat fish and seafood. And that's quite understandable because the fish and seafood in southern Thailand is very good. And if you end up in Hat Yai, there are restaurants in town that sell fish and seafood. But eating in a sort of busy urban environment is never quite the same as eating seafood when you're sort of overlooking the sea or a lake. And if you're in Hat Yai, you can go to Songkhla, to Samila Beach, or you can go to Your Island, Got Your. But probably the nearest place is where we are at the moment, which is Lampo. It's a pleasant little place on the rim of Songkhla Lake. The fish and seafood is very good. The prices are fairly reasonable, and a lot of Hat Yai locals come here when they want to eat seafood. The seating area for these restaurants is built on stilts out over the lake, so you're actually sitting above the water. And in most of the restaurants there are two types of table. I'm just a bit concerned here about intruding on people eating their lunch. But in these little huts, you've got low tables and you have to sit on the floor. Let's just take a look inside one that's not occupied. You'll just see the low table there, and you sit on the floor. And the trouble I find with these places is that my legs start to ache. In the past, when I've been to meditation sessions and I've had to sit in the lotus position on the floor, my legs really start to ache. But further up you've got regular tables and chairs, which is what I prefer. So let's go and have a look at the tables and chairs. My wife and family are just waiting up there. My wife's just ordered the food. Okay, this sort of arrangement suits me much better. It's all open, there's no air conditioning, but there's fans and there's a really nice breeze blowing in across the lake, so it's really quite comfortable. When I've been before, every restaurant has been very busy, but at the moment we're still reawakening from COVID, and some of the restaurants still appear to be closed, and others look as if they might be open, but there are no customers. I'm not sure if Songkhla Lake should actually be described as a lake or an inland sea. It's certainly very big, and the salinity level varies depending on where you are. In the southern part here, water enters from the Gulf of Thailand, which is seawater, so it's obviously very salty. Up in the north, in Patalong province, it gets rain runoff from a mountain range. So the water there is virtually fresh. It might just be slightly brackish. But you get different species of fish and animals in the water because of the different salinity level. There's no concept of starters and main courses in Thailand. My wife ordered the food. It's always best that way because she orders much better than I do. And what's turned up first are some mixed vegetables, pad pak ruam mit, and wun sen salé, which is the glass noodles with squid and shrimp. So we're snacking on that first as a kind of appetizer, and then hopefully our fish should arrive soon. A som tam dish has just turned up. This is the spicy papaya salad, and this one has some crab in it. Now, it's a big fish, George, is it? Okay. Right, some more food has arrived. We've got some fried rice and also our fish. This is pla samri. I'm not quite sure what that translates to into English. All fish in Thailand is prefixed with pla, which means fish. So this is a samri fish, and it's got mango and cashew nuts on the top. Looks pretty good. So I'll see you again after my fish lunch. We've all come away very full from that, and the bill was just 770 baht, which is roughly just over $20 US, so pretty good value. Apart from eating lunch, there's not a lot else to do here. You can get an ice cream, which we're just about to do, to wash our lunch down with. There's a small park area where you can rest and relax, and just over here by the lake, when I've been previously, I've seen people fishing here. So if you're into fishing, bring your fishing rod and see what you can pull out of Songkhla Lake. I know in the UK they're quite strict about fishing and needing licenses, and if you get caught fishing without a license you can get fined. But in Thailand it all seems very, very relaxed, and if you see some water and you've got a fishing rod, you can fish without any problems. I can't actually see anyone fishing, but I can see a couple of fishing rods just up there. This is the beginning of October. It's actually the start of the rainy season, but funny enough, the rainy season is when you can get the best weather of all in Thailand, when it's not actually raining. When it's raining it's miserable, but during the rainy season, when it's not raining, it's just a nice temperature. It's not too hot, not too humid, and really pleasant. This place should look familiar if you watched my last video. On the way home from Lampo we had to pass the Burmese temple at Longhair, and I was so impressed last time that I mentioned it to my wife, and she wanted to take a look as well. So I'm back here for the second time in a couple of weeks after not visiting for several years. When I came last time I just put some money in the box, but whenever my wife makes merit, she always does it properly by taking the candles, incense and lotus flowers and paying respect to the Buddha, which she's doing now with the two kids. I hope you enjoyed a little look around the fish and seafood restaurants of Lampo, and if you're in Hat Yai and you fancy eating seafood, I thoroughly recommend a trip to Lampo. Not only is the seafood very good, but the atmosphere looking over Songkhla Lake is also very pleasant. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions or other feedback, please leave them below, and more videos soon.